Hello, hello everyone. It's been a minute since I last made you know, a video on this channel with me talking over it. But I don't know. This league has been kind of bad in terms of retention, but I've been enjoying it quite a bit, and I've been playing this build for a while now. I actually re-rolled off of it and re-rolled back into it because it was so good. This is uh the int accuracy stacker jug that a lot of people are playing. I kind of just want to go over my setup on it. You know, it's the usual stuff you'll see with the Fallborn hand of thoughts and emotion, giving you intelligence per accuracy and everything. But since this is you know an intelligence stacker, it's it's using a bunch of the things we've seen over the past leagues. The simplex. You really want to helical and everything. There's a couple of interesting stuff that have been introduced this league, and I kind of wanted to make this video a couple days ago because I saw the PoE2 announcement, and I have not played PoE2 since Archmage Spark was meta in like the very first league. I haven't really played that, so I was kind of hyped to go back to PoE2 for a bit. So starts off by drilling a little shaper here, and then we can go over the character as a whole. This is, I think, as far as build power goes, probably one of the strongest builds I've ever played. Once again, I'm really attracted to these builds that have a ton of damage, that are very very tanky, and can be kind of fast, as you can see with whirling blades. It's a bit hard to control sometimes. I've been doing a lot of fortress this league, just farming scarabs, as is every strat nowadays, and controlling this build in fortress is kind of annoying. But yeah, this is a intelligence accuracy stack in Juggernaut. It's uh, you know it just feels like most builds nowadays that really really scale to like ludicrous levels of power. It's all builds that have like one stat that scales a ton of things for them. Like you see this build, for example, int, scales accuracy, scales your percent damage, even scales a bit of your defenses from the evasion mastery. The guys playing KBOC, Kinetic Blast of Clustering, they're using Fellborn Choir, and Lightning Rest just scales all of their stats in general. Don't go into a ball phase, thank you. Maybe that's well rolled, we'll see. But yeah, can go over the character a little bit. So let's talk about offense first. How does this character actually get damage? Sorry, this. Oh, nah, it's not very good. Okay, so the way most builds in Path of Exile scale their damage rates is you want a source of flat damage, and then you want a source of increased damage, and obviously more damage. The way you get these things in this build is that you get a ton of flat damage from using Storm Rider boots. So this reads 126 added attack lightning damage per 200 accuracy rating. And the way we are getting accuracy rating is through these new claws this week: Fall, Born, Hand, Thought, and Emotion. They have this stat called 5% increased accuracy rating per 25 intelligence, and we are using two of these. I currently have 4,400 intelligence. So that is quite a bit of percent increased damage. Percent increased accuracy scales the flat accuracy we are getting from this mastery here. Gain accuracy rating equal to your intelligence. If you can see here, look at my tooltip. It's saying 10,000 to 351, 3 million, the something whatever. If I remove this, it takes my damage down quite a bit. So I want to get as much accuracy rating as I can, and we get that by scaling our intelligence. And again, this build uses the bulk of your flat accuracy is coming from Shaper's Touch. This glove has +4 flat accuracy per 2 intelligence. So this is giving me like 8,000 flat accuracy or something. This doesn't have any auras yet. Okay, so if I remove Shaper's Touch, my damage is cut down in half essentially. Okay, so now we get flat accuracy from here, and the mastery. We get percent accuracy from intelligence. So, and now we need the flat damage, and we are getting it from Storm Rider boots. Storm Rider boots are essentially mandatory for this build. You cannot replace these. And then the other building blocks for the character are just getting more int, and then getting multi, and then getting tankiness. Obviously, as we are an int stacker, we are using a simple example. This is a skin. I can remove this. We are using a simplex amulet, that every single int stacker in the world probably just uses these, attributes, intelligence, percent damage per 15 int. And the anointer is this one, Mystic Talons. I don't know. I apologize, sorry. Most people use Claws of the Falcon. It's this one here. I don't know. This is probably a little more damage because it has the 40 multi. But this anoint is making me go over 30k ES, and 30k ES is very pretty to look at. I think so personally. And yeah, that's the offense of our character. So what about the rest of our gear? The rest of our gear essentially is just scaling intelligence again. Helmet is just int percent int. Chest armor is just int percent int again. Helical, very important on any single stat stacker. One thing that is very important for builds like these is that you will see builds like the one I'm showcasing here, and you need to try and look a bit past the finality of the build. You're going to look at a build here and you're going to say, wow, this guy plays 10 hours a day and for 3 weeks, and he has done all of this. Now he has this insane build. I'm never going to be able to do that. Okay, I people do play this game a lot, but you can start this build on a much cheaper budget than this. You don't need to have a mirror chest. You can just get a chest with I don't know, fractured intelligence or something, and then just dense phosphorus until you get a good ES number, and then do your eldritch implicits. You don't need to have an elevated intelligence helmet either. You can just have a decent lich's circlets with int and decent ES, and then just slam a Hunter's X on it for 10% int. That's what I was using for the longest time. Not the longest time, for a very long time. The things that I think are non-negotiable for the build personally are are obviously the claws, the Stormrider boots, Shaper such obviously, and then Simplex. I think Simplex is, early on, the biggest bang for your buck purchase is 100% going to be a Simplex. And if you're doing this build on a sort of a budget, right? When I say budget, this might sound insane to some of you guys, but if you have like 300 or 400 divines to put into a build, I I would not start. I would have my simplex amulet, and then start spending 100 200 div on the rest of the gear. Oh yeah, grafts. This thing introduced grafts, right? These are little things you stick on your body. I don't know if you can see them on my character. I have them hidden, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Well, they stick out of your back. Here's the league mechanic for Keepers League. But graphs also scale your damage quite a bit. Yeah, there is an unstable implant corruption result that gives you 1% increased melee damage per 20 intelligence. That also scales your damage quite a bit. So you're getting a ton of percent increased damage from two of these, from the simplex. The building blocks for this build offensively are very strong. And since we are getting a ton of raw damage here, we are an attack build, and attack builds, they need a bit of attack speed. And the way we are getting attack speed on this build is by being a Juggernaut and using the undeniable notable. This one gives us 1% increased attack speed per 150 accuracy rating. I have a lot of accuracy on my Reeve right now. As you can see, I have the main hand accuracy rating. I have 248,000. So my Reeve is almost at 40 attacks per second. If I remove Pulverize, it goes up to 45 attacks per second, right? So we are attacking quite fast on this character. So yeah, Jug also has a lot of other nice things. I don't think you can play this build on anything other than a Jug personally. If you do, you're gonna have to fix attack speed somehow, and attacks just don't feel very good when you don't have a ton of attack speed. So yeah, playing Jug for the undeniable, and of course there is the Jug action speed, the slow immunity. This is always a nice note to get. There is some people that opt to not take this and instead go down to Unrelenting for a bit more tankiness. But I think this is too much quality of life to really give up. I don't know. I personally value how a build feels to play a lot more than the number in PUB. If I can cut all of my stats in half, but my build feels really nice to play, I would do it in a heartbeat. And then of course there's the unflinching, the trademark for Juggernaut and PoE is endurance charges, and we are getting them here. We have a total of 6 endurance charges. We have 3, 4 here, 5 here, and 6 on the other side. No, and 6 from my boots actually. Yeah. My boots are giving me +1 endurance charge. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm kind of scatterbrained a bit because I tend to ramble on these videos. I haven't. I should really have a script going to follow, so it doesn't, so people don't get tilted at me just, talking randomly. But I do enjoy, just rambling about things I like, and PUE1 is one of them. And these, become god builds are certainly builds that I like to play from league to league. But yeah, uh, this is the offense of the character. I don't think I missed anything. Uh, yeah. Now let's talk about the defense. So, this character is a Sublime Vision character. It's a it's a Sublime Vision for Heresy of Fire. So the only aura where we are using is Purity of Fire. It's yeah, it's level 23. It's quite important to have a level 23 Purity of Fire, because when it's level 23, you gain one more max res on it. So it lets me be 90% res without needing to get max fire res from somewhere. And the plus 2 level on the boot is doing it for me. This boot is very, very convenient for this build, genuinely. It's quite nice. I mirrored this from that Delver guy, the Turd Twister X. He has this one up for mirror service. And yeah, defenses: Sublime Vision, Purity of Fire. We are obviously in stacker, so we get to have a lot of ES. We have 30,000 ES. We have 6 endurance charges, so that's also quite a bit of DR. Uh, the reason why we are doing this is that this is 30% with Tempered by War. It's 30 plus 50. That is 80% of cold and lightning damage taken as fire. Sorry. And then we have a Watcher's Eye with a 20% mod on it to give us 20% of cold and lightning damage taken as fire. So this makes it so that 100% of the cold and lightning damage that we are taking is taken as fire damage. Which means that we don't really need to care about cold and lightning resistances. Which also makes it very convenient to do blue altars in maps. Because a bunch of the blue altar mods make they give you negative cold and lightning res, and that's essentially just a non-issue for us, right? In past leagues, this used to only be possible with Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker had the same line that the Dishwatcher's Eye has. 20% cold and lightning damage is taken as fire. So you were sort of locked into playing with the shield. Not that it was really a big issue, because Dawnbreaker is a very good shield at the time. Yeah, so the rest of the defenses of the character, we have a lot of evasion. A lot of it was 61,000 evasion, which is around 87% chance to evade against, normal mobs. We are getting this through generally just a Jade Flask, and then this mastery here. 1% increased evasion rating per 5 int, and Dex provides no inherent bonus to evasion rating. We don't have a lot of Dex, 600 for, attribute stacker standards. So we get rid of that to get this. See, now I have 61,000 Dex if I remove this. 37,000 evasion rating. It's quite a bit. And we have, a bunch of flat evasion from, boots here and some other places. If I remove this flask, I go to 6,000. Yeah. So flat evasion is very, very good for us. That's why we use Jade Flask here. You can opt to not use Jade Flask and not take this wheel if you want to be a bit more greedy. And you can, pick up more int or pad down to another jewel socket or something. You can make choices when it comes to your passive tree. Speaking of jewel sockets, we are an attribute stacker, so obviously we are using large cluster jewels. It's just int, all attributes, ES, increased effects. One thing that is very important here: do not get baited by paying more to buy this base specifically. Claw attacks deal percent damage. It doesn't really matter what base you have as long as it's either claw attacks, lightning damage, dual wielding. They're all the same. They're genuinely all the same. Most of your damage on this build is going to be lightning anyway. So the lightning damage cluster is just fine. So don't overpay for clusters like these. The rest of our jewels are for Forbidden Flesh and Flame for Aspects of Carnage. Aspects of Carnage is the Berserker node for 40% more damage and take 10% increased damage. Admittedly, I don't think this build really needs that much damage because You can get a ton of damage already, but the I don't know. No, I like having that note. It always feels nice to just have two jewel sockets that give you 40% more damage. It's quite nice. We are using brute force solution to, since we are taking quite a few travel nodes here, we can get a bunch of ints from this. You know, these are giving us no, sorry, these are giving us like, 200 int per jewel essentially. It's not too bad. Split personalities here, intelligence and accuracy rating. This is very important. Flat accuracy rating is very important in this build. So we have two of these here. It's on the opposite side of the starting area essentially. The Rakiata Lethal Pride for Tempered by War. Uh, one other reason that makes actually picking Soul Thief and the Evasion Mastery here nice is that you can get some nice nodes from your Lethal Pride. So I have 5% DD here, Rage on hits here. There was another one that was the exact same as this. It had DD here, Rage on hits, and it also had Intimidate in here. But the guy had it listed for like 4 mirrors or something, and I don't think I have it in me to play that much just to get Intimidate, especially when PoE2 is right around the corner and the Warframe is getting the new updates in like 4 days as well. So I'm planning to play that for a while. And yeah, so the defense holes in this character. Let's talk about that for a little bit. This character is very tanky against most things. The thing that you fail to mitigate is fizz hits, really. So you are quite vulnerable to fizz. Honestly, if I can devouring fragments. Okay, hold on. Let's buy. I have divines and I want devouring fragments. Yeah, sure. So I want to show you guys that this character is not impervious to damage. Fizz hits can still hurt you. Uh, I'm probably going to evade most of the hits that Eater's gonna do here, but see, it's still like, if I don't evade, it still sort of hurts me. Not too much, admittedly, of course, because this is an absolute freak of a character. But you'll notice that like in Ghosted, Feared Valdos and so on, Elder can actually hurt you quite a bit, and the Cyrus Beam can hurt you as well, depending on if they have some weird essence mods or whatever. Uh, it's there's no I don't think there is a good way to solve fizz mitigation in this game, besides trying to convert all of it, and they've been removing ways to convert fizz taken as, or making them extremely annoying to get, and I don't know what the solution to fizz damage really is. I'm sorry, I don't know how to mitigate fizz very well. The other thing as well that this build sort of struggles with is degens, fizz degens specifically. I have a little bit of regen here, like I have 1700 regen, and I have a ton of leech because I'm doing so much damage, and I have instant leech per claw. And I'm leeching life, which then becomes ES leech because of Ghost Reaver. So as long as I'm hitting things, I can sustain myself. But sometimes you get some really nasty bleeds on you, and it's really hard to mitigate. Something else that this build doesn't do very well is, if you're doing Valdos, instability is really hard to mitigate. If you reach like, I think I can tank up to like 130 stacks or something, but I need to stand still and like let Arctic armor get applied to it. But I don't know. Fizz damage is a problem for most builds, I'd imagine, and I don't think there is a very good way to mitigate fizz, just in general in this game. Uh, but yeah, these are sort of The holes in this character. I tried to look into getting suppress in this character, but to get suppress, I would have needed to use a shield first of all, and I would have needed to change my path in. So not go through here at all, and I would have needed to go through Mage Bane to go like through here and go down to Mage Bane, and I had a POB that was suppress capped with like a essentially like a POB item shield, like the same sort of shield that's the Hyros last league that we're playing for Forbidden Rise of Soul Sacrifice we're using with like suppress and recover on block and stuff. But it was just too annoying to work with, and you lost a ton of damage as well because you lost a whole claw, and I don't think it was worth it. I That level of defense uh, is not really something that is needed for the content that I was personally doing, which is like invigorating blight, like Scarab Fortress farm, Valdo mapping, and so on. It's not really something that I ended up really committing to. Uh, but yeah, talks about the offense of the character. Talks about the defense of the character. Uh, I'm sorry if I'm rambling a bit. Potential upgrades for this character. Potential upgrades would be, uh, you know, you could get a helmet that has uh, a double elevated, so it would be a hunter intelligence, and it would also be warlord gain accuracy equal to your strength and increased crit per strength. I think that's the elevated warlord mod. But that would need that you would need to get Crusader influence somewhere else, because uh, because here I have Crusader influence here, and Crusader influence on my simplex amulets for the purposes of Bound by Destiny. This is giving me 15% increased intelligence. So that's helmet would be a definitive DPS upgrade for this. Even if you lose the abyssal sockets, and you would need to either get Crusader influence on your Mage Blood, so you chance a Mage Blood, you chance a heavy belt into a Mage Blood that has Crusader influence, which is I would never bother to do anything like that, me personally. Or you can get a chest with a chest that has Crusader influence. I think that's the most reasonable thing here to do is to get a chest with Crusader influence. But to do this, this is an upgrade only as far as damage goes. If you do that, you will lose a lot of tankiness because you lose the implicit mod, less damage taken per round and 80 intelligence. This is giving us like 23% less damage taken or something, 24, and that's quite a bit of tankiness that you would be losing. Uh, but yeah, a lot of these builds when they get to this point, they it you start to run out of direct upgrades, and every upgrade that you get becomes a compromise. Becomes a compromise. You are taking away from tankiness to add to damage, or vice versa, right? Taking away from damage to add to tankiness. Like I could take away from damage to add to tankiness, right? I could not use the aspects of Carnage, Forbidden Flesh and Flame, and instead use the Indomitable Resolve node, the one where you deal 10% less damage and you take 25% less, right? If I wanted to be a lot tankier, I could do that, but it's a choice that people have to do, or people have to make themselves. Uh, the other things that we could talk about here is that they added in this league bloodline ascendancies. So what most people are doing with their bloodline ascendancies is they're going for Pharaoh, the little cat beast, They're taking the Spectre that this gives them, crit immunity, percent increased accuracy, and crit. And that's very good. That's very good also because you can use a Spectre, a Beast Spectre that casts Grace on you. And Grace gives you a ton of flat evasion. I was using that for a while, and it was making me go up to like 140,000 evasion, which is quite impressive. The way this gem works, this jewel works, is that only the auras that you have socketed on you don't work. If you have an aura bot with you, for example, all of their auras will still work on you, even if you have a Sublime Vision equipped. So, people, a lot of people do that. But what I found to be a little bit better is to have a cast when damage taken setup for this cast when damage taken, Purifying Flame, and Awakening Grease AoE. So this makes Consecrated Ground, but with the Lycia bloodline, it makes it so that our Consecrated Ground becomes Profane Ground. And Profane Ground, with this node specifically, will gives us a bunch of crit on the enemies, which we need. This build is sort of starved on crit, and it will curse them with Malediction. Malediction makes them take 10% increased damage, and they deal 10% reduced damage to us. So that's another nice layer of defense. And the main thing why I switched to this was that in Valdo maps, my Spectre just was not living. I just couldn't keep my Spectre. I could not keep my guy alive. So like the moment I got to a feared or something, they would just die instantly, and then it's like I don't have a bloodline ascendancy at all. So that was kind of frustrating. I made the switch to this like a few days ago. But yeah, I think that about covers the character. Some nice things you can do. I'm using a Reeve here. Reeve of Refraction is nice because you kind of get around Reflect because it fully converts the physical damage to a random element. So Fizz Reflect doesn't kill you. Uh, then the links are very normal. Awakened Multi-Strike. Awakened Lightning Penetration is very, very, very important because we don't really have we don't really curse. The only curse we have is Assassin's Mark. And there is no convenient way to get conductivity on the enemy. So this is giving us 40% lightning pen and exposure. Volatility obviously staple in every single lightning build. Awakened elemental damage with attacks and pulverize. What you can replace is that you can replace awakened elemental damage with attacks with awakened in KoE if you want to map a bit easier. But I didn't feel like I needed that. But yeah, you can use a lot of other skills. Obviously, this is just a blank template for you to use any skill you want. If you're mostly bossing, you can use Viper Strike of the Mamba, and it just like triples your damage. If you prefer it, you can use Lightning Strike as well, but I would not suggest doing this if you care about the health of your graphics card. I think because the moments I get into a map, my FPS just gets halved the moment I start pressing Lightning Strike. There are other things you can use. You can use Cobra Lash. You can use Venom Jar if you want. Although those spells, they kind of lose their upper hand of being the clear speed demons that they are when you're attacking this fast with other skills. But yeah, I think that's about it for the character. Just an intelligence accuracy stacker that's using one of the strongest ways to mitigate elemental damage, Sublime Vision for Purity of Fire. And yeah, let's do a little Volta map showcase. This is one of the maps that I've been farming. It's a Ghosted Fear, the map, beach map that drops a Forbidden Flame. Let's see, if I drop a good Forbidden Flame, I'll destroy it on the spot. Here we go. This is what I'm gonna do. I've had a very dry streak with these Forbidden Flames, man. I've you know, it's essentially gambling, but like it's gambling in a slightly more fun way than usual, right? Because you get to play the game, you get to have a reason to make a strong character. But yeah, you know, this content is not like free. The Feared can still have some, you know, weird mod combination that just messes me up. It's just the nature of the beast. It's gonna be here, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm in the, yeah. Sure, man. And that's the Feared, our rat pit club. Look at that. I don't know why I clicked that strongbox. I'm like a monkey, man. I see a thing I can click and I just click it. Oh yeah, I missed a rare somewhere, obviously. Why would I not miss a rare somewhere in the map? There it is. Okay. If it's a good one, I will destroy it on the spot. Ngamahu Flames Advance. I don't think this is a good one, guys. 20 divines? I'm not picking this up. Sorry. No, hold on. I said I would destroy it. Sorry, hold on. Of course, I did like 20 maps of this. Just this day. And I don't think I got a single one that's good, but then I record a video and of course I get a profit, but hey, I'm gonna keep my promise. I'm gonna destroy this as well for the culture. But yeah, intelligence, accuracy, suck Juggernaut, everyone. No, I'm sorry if I've been rambly in this video. I'm still a bit sick. I was waiting to make this video after I got a bit better, but I didn't. So it is what it is. And yeah, definitely one of the builds of all time. I would recommend everyone try it if you can. It's really a hell of a drug to you know, attack this fast and be able to just cross maps like this. It's nice. It's nice being able to it's kind of hard to control. You keep running into these little fuck ass trees, but yeah, I'll I'll be playing PoE, the PoE 2 League. I haven't played it since Archmage Spark was good in the very first patch. So I'm kind of excited to see if I can find a build that's, you know, very tanky, has very good damage, can go fast. If I can find a build like that, and you know, feel like I feel like doing a video on it, like a little showcase like this, then I just might. I'm gonna have a lot of time this December, probably for the, you know, a lot of the rest of the year as well, because I'm finishing my masters. But yeah, I hope you guys have a very lovely day. I hope all of you have enjoyed Keepers League or are still going to enjoy Keepers League. And let's just go here to make this little epic. This is the new hideouts, by the way. It's a very sick hideout. It's so cool, man. I get to just be a goddamn pirate. It's so cool. Yeah, look at this. Wait, let me attack here. Oh, hold on, wait, I need to. Where's the seafarer cap? Oh, I'm Jack Sparrow, man. That's crazy. Okay, I hope you all have a good day, and have a good one. Have a good one, everyone. Goodbye. Love you all. Ciao.